Hey Sunshines, Ereg here. This painting of Makima took me about 13 hours to complete, and today I just wanted to share with you a little bit about my art process, what went into creating this piece. From the start, starting with sketch this time, you can see me working very small, like almost trying to create a thumbnail first, very zoomed out. That's pretty much because of me not being really sure where to take this piece. You can see me like trying different poses, different angles. Uh, I knew that I wanted to do a sitting pose, like a kind of looking down on the viewer look on her face, just because of the character. But I really didn't know where to take it. There, so like I took my time exploring the hand positioning, kind of staying very zoomed out for a very long time, as you can see. Yeah, but pretty quickly jumping into some underpainting. Pretty much as soon as I decided on the pose, I jumped straight into painting. This is actually a pretty straightforward approach for me, doing a sketch as a quick line art, then jumping into underpainting and adjusting some lights and shadows in there. And afterwards, I plan on working just painting on top of line art, kind of merging everything together. You can probably see me doing it here already. Like I think I'm going over the initial line art um, already, like this early. This usually works very well if I know where to take a painting, but still, I'm pretty much free to make any decisions I want, choose connecting my line art and painting on top of it. Here finally, pretty much like a few hours into the piece, I'm finally kind of zooming in on it, start working on the whole canvas and getting some background in as well. I found out that like just a few guys in the background with shirt and ties would be pretty cool to see. Nothing crazy complicated, but I think it gave um, some more interest to the piece. You can also see me kind of settling down on the light composition here. I found that her face would rather be in shadow, but her breasts and the rest of her body would catch more light. And as I said here, I'm just really trying to separate light and shadow pretty well, just so the shapes are visible, and really working on those shapes more, kinda making them more appealing individually, and also making some more sense overall, just as a piece. Yeah, one interesting addition you can see me do here is just adding cat ears to her. Well, I was not able to resist it, really. Just because, as for the character herself, like, there are so many fan arts on Makima that I don't even hope to do something original or interesting that will stand out among all the other fan art that has been done on her. So I just threw a couple of cat ears just for the sake of it, because why not? Who's gonna stop me, right? And this is pretty much like what I usually try to do with my personal art, just have as much fun as possible, just no stress, painting it at my own pace and doing whatever I feel like doing. Unlike commissions where you pretty much stick to the client's idea and you always have to make adjustments and changes if needed. Here though, like I'm pretty much free to do whatever I want. Yeah, here you can see me doing some rather major changes right now in the piece, like adjusting the positions, adjusting some light here and there. I think it was whenever I took a day off and then came back to it the next day. This painting was done in like 3 settings, I think. 3 sittings of like 4 to 5 hours each. I decided to add some ravens in the background as well, because it was getting pretty empty closer to the bottom of the piece. Yeah, and also from now on you'll not see any like major changes From now on, it will be just, overall rendering, going over everything, adding more details, adjusting the shapes. Or here you'll probably see where I struggle with the face quite a bit. Yeah, I believe from now on it will be quite a few hours of struggling on the face. You can see me adjusting it, moving it, painting and stuff. Yeah, I was really just refusing to use a good reference for it, which I think is fine. I mean, I think it's fine just trying to figure stuff out by yourself, and I find that you actually learn better doing that. Because if I was to use a reference, I would just copy it and there would be nothing to learn from the process. Then here though, like I can work on it, slam my head against the problem and perhaps use a reference later on to correct my minor mistakes. If you're going to try this approach yourself though, be careful, because it's you risk burning out, and I definitely burn out a lot while doing it. It's kind of working on it until it looks right. At this point though, I think I was pretty happy with how it looks overall. Actually, really what was giving me trouble, it was just the angle of the face. It's actually an unusual angle for you to see in real life, and that's why people rarely paint it, or it's less familiar to your eye. As for the rest, I don't think I have used any reference to this piece other than for clothing, perhaps a little bit for the shirt. The pose itself was, I wouldn't say it's like it came out amazing, but I think it was pretty chill for me to do. Nothing was really difficult. And also I'm pretty curious to hear what you guys think of this approach. Do you use the references? Do you not use the references? I think like people say how important it is to use them all the time, but actually I've been finding out that I improve better whenever I use less references and I use them very specifically for a very certain purpose. I've definitely gone through a phase before where I wouldn't even start an artwork unless I had a reference for absolutely everything. And it really felt like I was just combining different images together while also scuffing them up in the process with my limited art knowledge, which just didn't feel as good. Now it feels just way better, even though like perhaps the anatomy here isn't correct, the face is not perfect. At least I'm having fun in the process, right? Isn't it the main thing? Isn't it the best about art? This piece is also a great example of if you're limited at the time, or you don't want to overwork a piece, you really want to concentrate your details at one area. Like here it is very visible, it's very noticeable how most of details are concentrated around the character's face, and the rest of the image is kind of left a little bit unfinished. But I think it's fine, because you don't really need to render everything out. People won't even look at all of your painting, they'll just probably have one or two focal points for them to look at. That's why I kind of push back the ravens in the bottom of the piece as well, just so they don't take attention from the character or her face. Yeah, here also going into some final adjustments, some final renderings. Okay, and here it is. What do you guys think of this piece? I think it came out alright for a quick fan art. 13 hours or so on this. And yeah, that's about it for today. Take care, sunshines, and happy arting.